Yeah, I want y'all to look at something because I find this very, very weird. And me that has dealt with the law, fucking with me and my family and putting my family and a lot of my homies and, people that I know behind bars. And especially when it comes to the feds. Look what it says here. The charges against Young Thug born Jeffrey Williams carried a potential maximum sentence of 120 years in prison, but he was released in October 2024 after accepting a plea deal. The sentence he was initially facing was related to charges under Georgia's RICO Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, as well as multiple other gang, drug, and firearm charges. The charges Young Thug was accused of leading a violent Atlanta street gang called Young Slime Life, which is YSL. The indictment includes a wide array of crimes that prosecutors say were committed to further the gang's criminal enterprise. The plea deal. After more than 2 years in jail and months into what was shaping up to be Georgia's longest running criminal trial, Williams opted for a non-negotiated guilty plea. This decision put his faith entirely in the judge's hand. The sentence. The judge handed down a total sentence of 40 years. Time served. The first 5 years were commuted to time served according to the 900 plus days he already spent behind bars. Probation. This was followed by 15 years of probation. Backloaded sentence. In addition, 20 years in prison will be served only if he violates his probation. His release. As a result of the deal, Williams was released from jail and did not serve the potential 120 years. Now, let me get this right. How do you go down from 120 years to be brought down to 40 years with a 20 years or 15 years of probation already with the 900 days that he's already served? I'm going to tell you how that is possible. That is possible by you snitching. That is possible by you cooperating with the authorities. That is possible by you giving knowledge and wisdom of vivid details and information that only that person knew and stated and wrote down, and also cooperated with the police to gather enough information from his part to be not only indicted into serving the 120 years, but also to be found guilty in minor charges and be given only 2 years or whatever time he already served. I'm just using that as an example. With 15 years of probation. If he violates his probation, he'll be given 20 years automatically, which will be the maximum, which adds up in total into 40 years. But it still doesn't make sense. Why it doesn't make sense? Look at these charges as the video goes by. I'm talking about from every charge that is inevitable and evidence and proof that which qualifies for the FBI to go in and bust every motherfucker that's within the organization itself, to give multiple life sentences or even 40 to 50 year sentences just by everyone's charges and just the organization itself for all the federal charges of the RICO which it carries. And it carries a maximum of 120 years for only one person, and that is the person of interest, the person that is the main suspect, which is who? Mr. Jeffrey Williams, Mr. Young Thug himself. Now, this brother has the audacity and the balls to say that everybody else snitched on him. I'm talking about from Gunna and from Woody, which we already know that Woody snitched on him because he also, you know what I'm saying, he also said it himself. He had no problems by, you know what I'm saying, quoting that himself. And we saw him in the stand in court and how he was pointing fingers, but he lied to the police over and over and over, kept on giving different stories, different perceptions, different type of, you know what I'm saying, criteria and what happened and what the police wanted to find out. And then you got the Gunna. Gunna did not give a statement or sign any papers or did any discovery or did any depositions. He decided to give his own, you know what I'm saying, and take his own plea deal, which it came out fine and perfect for him. But to Jeffrey Williams, Young Thug, it looked as if he snitched on him to get away, to get lesser time so he can go ahead and do what he needed to do. But this is what I think. I think that they were all in it. I think that they all collaborated with the police and just to make it seem like they were all against each other and they all started to turn into ops. They played the scenario, okay, you played that, you know what I'm saying, to distract the people that you snitched on me and you took a different plea deal, you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to go ahead and call you a snitch. And then you got Rollo. Rollo said that he fucking lied to the police just like Woody so many times just for this, to distract the attention and the fucking police and the feds, and in this RICO case, that Mr. Jeffrey Williams, they had nothing, no indication or no type of participation, or the organization YSL wasn't even connected to racketeering cases, and you know that he was the boss through it all, and that he wasn't the one that made the call and was the one that suggested and appointed everybody within the organization itself to pursue with these type of RICO charges. Now, this is where it gets to where we all know what time it is. Listen, there is no way in hell that a federal RICO case that have so much sufficient evidence and proof to lock you up for 120 years, that you bring it down to 2 years and 15 years of prison and be given 20 years of probation if you violate when it comes to a RICO case. There is no way in hell, if you didn't do anything and you wasn't found guilty, there's no way that the feds are just gonna let that shit get away. You know what happened in that case? With this case, everybody was corrupted. The judge was corrupted. The prosecution was corrupted. Everybody who took a handle and took any type of precision or matter into the case, they were crooked. You wanna know why? Because it was the longest lasting trial Georgia case in history in Georgia. Cases like this, when you got so much evidence and so much proof and so much charges that clearly states perfectly, they got them by the balls. They got them to where they can put these people away for life. For everybody almost to be fucking acquitted and take plea charges that looks like Mickey Mouse took fucking candy from a baby. It doesn't sit well with me. That means that Young Thug cooperated just as much as Woody, just as much as anybody that decided to take any type of plea deal. The only person that I think that did not, did any cooperation with the authorities and decided to take his own plea to just get away and not deal with the situation was Gunner. But still, something in my head tells me that he also had to say a little something. I'm not really quite sure because I didn't see the paperwork. I didn't see no documents. I ain't see no affidavits. I ain't see no indictment papers. I didn't see no depositions or discoveries connected to him pointing the finger at Young Thug or at Woody or at Rallo or Pee Wee or anybody else. But the main suspect, the one that always was talking shit, who fucking phone calls leaked from jail, talking shit about Kendrick, talking shit about his peoples, talking shit about Gunner, talking shit about Woody, was the main one to give all the information that they needed. And we already heard the 2 hours, the 2 hour interview voluntarily that he did, the interrogation that he voluntarily told the police, please, can you promise me that this won't be let out in public, that this won't be shown in public? You know what that tells me? That tells me that he snitched from the fucking beginning. But the only reason why they held him that long is they wanted to see if anybody else who they had under their custody will fucking fall out, crash out, and start digging in deeper and start snitching on others that were within the organization to see if they could catch him too. That's why. There is no way that you are going to get the feds to fucking bring down a 120-year sentence to 2 years and 15 years of probation. There's no fucking way in hell. My uncles, I got uncles that are doing 50 years now, and they had top-notch fucking lawyers that worked through their cases before. I'm not going to get into detail what my uncles did. Just know these were main big motherfuckers that ran the street. So just like Byron Blake, I have a family full of people that's related to me that are now drowning in the feds. And they weren't as rich as Young Thug was, but they had money. They had sufficient money to go to trial and to extend it to a period of time, to see if their charges will be brought down or they were acquitted or they had a fair plea. The difference is that my uncles did not cooperate with the police. They didn't give them information. They didn't snitch. They didn't point the finger. They took it like a fucking man. I got homies that are serving fucking life sentences in prison and in the feds. You know why? Because they decided to go to trial and let 12 jurors dictate their fucking fate, and they lost trial. So for this motherfucker to talk about that he's the top notch and he's a fucking boss and that he never snitched, wow, bruh. Damn, bruh. You know what, bruh? I should have seen this coming all the way. That's why Kendrick said, man, I know some shit that'll make Gunna look like a saint. But it gets deeper than that. You see, because it's not only Young Thug and his affiliation and his organization that was all in. You see this lady right here? This lady was Young Thug's attorney, and she was arrested, and she was, her license was suspended permanently as being an attorney because she was working within the organization itself. She was bribed. Not only bribed, she was doing them favors and put it like this. I think she was fucking Young Thug and a couple of the, the boys from YSL. And that's her right there taking the picture with the money that the YSL was providing her as she was working with in the Young Thug case and the Rico case. But they found out that she was just as crooked and just as fucked up as the police are. And they decided to indict her. They decided to take away her license. And they decided to Let her do time. But guess what? We haven't heard anything from her ever since that these accusations and these charges were put upon her. You understand what I'm saying? And she was posting pictures on Instagram, on TikTok, and that's the stupidity when it comes to these people. They fucking rap what the fuck they live, and then they put it on fucking Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and they think that the FBI is not watching them. Of course they watching you, you dumbass. It's one thing to rap about what you talk about, but it's another one to show the world and fucking snitch and just be fucking so flamboyant with it. What you think? FBI is not gonna collect all that information, all that evidence and proof? And here she is, pointing a fucking gun. That's when the FBI started doing a heavier investigation and started watching her even more. Because an attorney doesn't conduct themselves like this. They don't do this to themselves, and they don't expose themselves to this level, and that's breaking the Constitution within any attorney's license or just being an attorney for anyone that she or he is representing. The Constitution itself doesn't allow that. So she's already breaking her own constitutional rights, and she's already breaking the fucking law by pointing a fucking gun. And I don't know, maybe that was her gun. You understand? Maybe she had a license for it. I don't fucking know. But this is how the feds collect their evidence, their proof, and they're able to indict anyone that's within a criminal organization and also come to a closure where they can bring a RICO case upon or organization or group or gang members into these type of charges and also apprehend them because they have sufficient. Once the FBI comes for you, that's it, my boy. There's nothing you can do. And the only way that you can get away is by what? By fucking snitching. So guess what? Woody was right. Woody already knew that fucking Young Thug was snitching from the beginning. But guess what? I don't believe the story that he decided to snitch because he wanted to distract the fact and he didn't want people to know that Young Thug was snitching. That's out the fucking picture. Stop fucking lying. Stop the fucking cat, Woody. Come on now, bro. Come on now, dog. Come on, bro. Listen, I know. 1, I do my research. 2, I have family that are in the feds. 3, I did my fucking time. 4, I get harassed every fucking time by the police and even got beaten by them and even had to go to trial several times because of what the fuck they did. And I'm also dealing now with something that I'm trying to put to trial of a case that I didn't commit 26 years ago, which they still had me fucking in the system and doing. And I did not commit this shit, and they know it. That's why they trying to come at me at a different angle because they know that they were fucking wrong for what they did. You understand what I'm saying? But when it comes to this organization, when it comes to Young Thug, when it comes to his peoples, and when it comes to the stupidity that they were fucking doing, and they're putting it on videos and in their music, and they were using their lyrics as an evidence and proof to put it in the indictments and also to show it in trial to use it to their advantage. You can't tell me nothing, Young Thug. I got a whole bunch of family members and friends that are in prison for 30 plus years. I got homeboys that are doing life sentences. I got 2 uncles that are doing 50 years and up in federal prison. You know why? Because they never cooperated or pointed the finger or told all their peoples or the peoples that they were doing whatever they were doing this with. I'm not finna get into full details because that's not what G's do. They don't put their peoples out there. My thing with you is, you think we stupid? We think we don't know why 120-year sentence went down to 2 years with 15 years of probation? What the fuck you think? You think we suck dick like you? No, sir. And that's the new era, this new modern era when it comes to fucking jitty bugs, when it comes to Oh, I want to be Tony Montana. I want to be this motherfucker. I want to be Chapo. I want to be Pablo Escobar. I want to be like the Italian mafia. Cause like Drake, I got mob ties. Man, stop the bullshit. Stop the cap, bruh. And you see, this is why I do believe Woody when he said, I knew that Young Thug was a snitch even before we hit trial or even went to fucking court to even pursue trial. Why? Because there's no way that 120 years can be brought down to 2 years credit time served to fucking 15 years in prison. That means you collaborated. You fucking gave information. You fucking became an informant. You fucking snitch. You gave information, vivid details about people, personnels, what they did, what they didn't do, who was connected to who. You see, Young Thug, that's where you fucked up at, my G. You thought that the internet world, especially a convict like myself, but thanks God for years I've been clean, you know what I'm saying? And I was born in one of the roughest and most toughest and fucking ghettoest places in the United States, in Miami, in the city, in the gutter, where poverty and the minorities was a motherfucker. Police harassment, getting beat, watching them kill some of my niggas and some of my peoples in front of me getting beaten, getting fucking taken to jail for crimes that I didn't do. I lived that life, bruh. So you can't tell me that you did not rat, that you did not snitch. Just looking at all the paperwork and the YSL indictments and all the charges that you had, and you facing 120 years, and everybody was able to get out with different plea deals, and further tells me that everybody collaborated, everybody gave information, everybody pointed the finger at somebody, everybody gave vivid details and informations on what did what, who was connected to what, who was the major, who was the middleman, who was doing the crimes, who was doing, you know what I'm saying, the initiative, from who it came from, who was the boss, who was the one that was connected with you. Everything. That's why your maximum sentence from 120 years was brought down to 900 days, credit time served, and 15 years in prison. We're not stupid, my nigga. We're not stupid, you fucking rat. And what you thought, that we wasn't smart enough to do our research? And congratulations to my boy Byron Blakes, who's on fucking Whack 100's neck right now. And also Spider Loke, who's been on Whack 100's neck. Also my dog 10 Toes Down. And also everybody else that is staying, my nigga Dayz, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That is all up in these niches, especially Whack 100's neck, and calling him for what the fuck he is. And also everybody that's on No Jumper, all them snitches and fuck ass motherfuckers that have this propaganda and agenda that they're not gonna fucking be brought up and fucking be called out for the snitching and them working with the fucking feds and police. Bruh, we smarter than what y'all think. But we also not gonna let y'all get away with it either. We're gonna call it for what it is. So big ups to all my niggas that I just named. Y'all make sure y'all go to their channel and subscribe to their channel, man, because they deserve every respect and all the flowers in the world, bro. They put in so much work. You know what I'm saying? I wish my channel was big how it used to be, but Fat Joe took my main channel away, and then I had another channel, and I don't even want to name it, but I don't know if it was within the Jumper 22 camp, but I did a video about Flacco, and that channel was taken away from me, so I'm starting all over again. I got 2 channels now, one Chico Black, and the other one Chico Black, they ain't like us. I only got 1 subscriber in that channel because I just started it, got about 23 or 24 videos. Y'all go ahead and show love to it, man, because it's time for these fake ass who think that they exposed to be exposed. And you know what? Whack 100, you're the softest, most pussy-ass nigga I've ever seen in my life. How the fuck you gonna talk about Young Thug, but you the godfather of snitching? You punk motherfucker, you. Bro, when you go to jail, You're gonna learn your lesson, my boy. I don't gotta get in full detail what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You lied. You lied. You said that the case was thrown out because the feds couldn't prove if you was, you know what I'm saying, trafficking and you was going out of state through the borderline, you know what I'm saying, with the guns that they caught you with. Motherfucker, that shit was denied. And it shows perfectly in your fucking indictment papers. It was denied. So you had to take a plea. You had to do something to get away from them charges. You had to be acquitted for some reason. So you see, all these fake ass narratives, all these fake ass from Whack 100, from Young Thug, and so many others, they're running the narrative so they could be validated. But look how much information and how much of rats and fucking snitches and fucking informants these puss ass niggas are. But y'all tell me how y'all feel. Y'all tell me what it is. This is your boy Chico Black, a.k.a. Jaloso. And like I said, y'all go ahead and subscribe to all my boys' channel. Dizzy, Spider Logue, Byron Blake, all them boys, man. Y'all go ahead and show them boys love 10 toes down. Y'all go ahead and show my niggas love, man. And for everybody else, hit y'all boy back. Leave y'all comments down below. Tell me what it is. Peace.